I've always known my life wasn't a fairy tale, but I never thought I'd be the side character in someone else's twisted soap opera. For privacy's sake, I'll be using fake names, but trust me, every part of this story is real, raw, and still messing with my head. My name's Lena, I'm 20, and I'm a college sophomore majoring in psychology. Growing up, it was just me and my dad for the longest time. My mom passed away when I was 8. I don't have many memories of her, but my dad did his best to fill both roles. At least, that's what I believed for a long time. When I was around 15, he met Rachel, and she quickly became a permanent fixture in our lives. She was younger than him, mid-30s, super into yoga, and had that effortless cool girl vibe. At first, I thought she was sweet. She'd buy me clothes, do my hair, even help me prepare for college interviews. I wouldn't say we were besties, but I trusted her. I genuinely believed she was trying to be part of the family. Dad seemed happy. That was important to me. But little things started bothering me. Moments that felt off. Like how Rachel would always have a little too much to drink during family dinners and start talking about how college boys are just different these days. She'd laugh too loudly at my boyfriend's jokes, and not the kind of laugh that comes from amusement, more like flirtation. I told myself I was being paranoid. I just started dating Noah at the time, a guy I met during my freshman year. He was cute, charming, and a little older, 22, doing a post-grad business program. He and I had been together for almost a year. Things weren't perfect, but I felt like we had something real. He'd met my dad and Rachel multiple times. Rachel always went out of her way to compliment him, even saying once, if I were younger. It was awkward, but I brushed it off. I always brushed it off. I think I was afraid to see what was really there. Then one weekend changed everything. It was during spring break. I decided to surprise my dad by coming home a day early. I didn't tell anyone, not him, not Rachel, not even Noah. I just packed my duffel and hopped on a late train back to our house. I remember the excitement bubbling up in me as I walked up our front steps. My plan was to make dinner for the three of us, just a small gesture, something warm and simple, like the old days. The house was quiet when I unlocked the door. No TV, no music, just the low hum of the fridge and the ticking clock on the wall. I figured they'd gone to bed early, so I tried to be quiet. But as I passed the hallway near the guest room, a room that was never used, I heard it. Voices. Then a muffled laugh. And then something that sounded like a moan. At first, I froze. My brain scrambled for logic. Maybe Dad and Rachel were in there, being weird. Gross, but fine. I was about to tiptoe away, when I heard a voice I recognized too well. Noah. I don't even remember turning the knob. It just happened. The door creaked open, and what I saw on the other side of it still burns in the back of my eyelids every time I try to sleep. Rachel. In nothing but a silk robe, straddling Noah. His shirt was half off. Her lips were on his neck. His hands were on her waist. They didn't even notice me right away. That's how into it they were. And then, Noah looked up. The way his eyes widened, I'll never forget it. Like a kid caught stealing candy, except the candy was my life. I didn't scream. I just turned and ran. I remember Rachel calling after me, some pathetic attempt to explain, I think. Noah didn't say a word. He just sat there, frozen, like some coward who knew the game was up. I locked myself in my old bedroom and shook for hours. My phone was blowing up, messages from Rachel and Noah. A missed call from my dad, who apparently wasn't even home. I didn't respond to any of it. That night, I cried harder than I have in years. Not just because my boyfriend cheated, but because my stepmom did this to me. And worse, in my own house. The one my mom once decorated. But if I thought the betrayal was over, I was wrong. The next morning, when my dad came home and I told him everything, shaking, sobbing, he didn't yell. He didn't ask me if I was okay. He just sat there, silent. And then, he said the words that shattered whatever was left of my heart. I'm not going to throw away my marriage over a mistake. A mistake. He called it a mistake. As if Rachel had dropped a dish, not stabbed me in the back. I thought I'd hit rock bottom that night. But I had no idea how deep the pit was. Because not only was he not angry at her, he blamed me for walking in without knocking. And that was just the beginning. I didn't sleep the night I walked in on them. I lay in my childhood bed, staring at the ceiling, my pillow soaked with tears that wouldn't stop coming. Every time I closed my eyes, I saw them. Her hands on him. His lips on her neck. My reality split open in a way I didn't think was even possible. I thought I'd feel better when my dad got home, that he'd blow up, kick her out, rage on my behalf. But what I got instead? Silence. He stood there in the living room, arms folded, looking like someone forced him out of bed too early. I was still shaking, still crying, trying to tell him everything. How I walked in. How they didn't even notice me at first. How Noah, the guy he said he respected, was literally in bed with his wife. When I finished, he took a long breath, rubbed his face, and muttered, "Lena, maybe this is something we can all move past." Move past? I thought I misheard him. I asked again, "Did you even hear what I just said?" "She was in bed with my boyfriend. In your house." He sighed like I was the one overreacting. She admitted it was a mistake. She'd been drinking. And Noah, well, he's a grown man. I can't control what he does. The rage that burned through me in that moment was indescribable. It wasn't just that she cheated with my boyfriend, it was the way he said it. Like it was some unfortunate accident. Like Rachel had tripped and fallen, right onto Noah's lap. "I trusted her," I said, my voice cracking. "I let her into our lives, Dad. She called me her daughter. And then came the worst part. She is my wife, Lena. And I made vows to her. We have a life together. I'm not going to destroy that over a lapse in judgment." I couldn't breathe. I just stared at him, mouth open. "So that's it? You're choosing her over me?" "I'm not choosing anyone," he said, eyes narrowing. "I just think you're being emotional. Maybe it's better if you go back to school for a bit, give things time to cool off." It was like being slapped. But not a physical slap, one of those emotional ones that echoes long after the words have been said. I didn't even pack properly. I grabbed my bag, stuffed in what I could, and left. I didn't say goodbye to Rachel. Didn't even look in her direction. But she tried to stop me at the door. She had the nerve to reach for my arm and whisper, "Lena, I didn't mean for this to happen. Please don't hate me." It was just a moment. It got out of hand. I pulled away from her like she was toxic. "You were in bed with my boyfriend. You're not sorry you did it, you're sorry I saw it." She didn't deny it. Just stared at me with wide, fake sad eyes and said, "I hope one day you'll understand. Love is complicated." Complicated? No. Love isn't complicated. Cheating is complicated. Grooming someone my age and sleeping with your stepdaughter's boyfriend is psychotic. I left. Slammed the door. Called my roommate crying so hard she could barely understand me. She picked me up from the train station that night, no questions asked. Just hugged me and said, "We'll get through this." For a week, I was a ghost. I didn't go to class. I barely ate. I told my professors I had a family emergency and needed time. My roommate, bless her, brought me water, forced me to shower, and played comfort shows until I was human again. Noah tried calling. Texting. Even emailed me. He had the audacity to say he wanted to talk and explain. Explain what, exactly? How my stepmother seduced you while I was in class. How you just couldn't resist. I blocked him everywhere. But the real gut punch came a few days later. I got a text from an unknown number. It was a photo. Rachel. Sitting on the backyard patio. My dad's arm around her. Both smiling. The caption? "Family is everything revolving hearts." I stared at that photo like it was written in another language. Family is everything. You know what was everything to me? Loyalty. Trust. Respect. And they ripped it all away like it meant nothing. I debated deleting the photo, but something in me wanted to keep it. I needed a reminder. A scar. Proof that I didn't imagine it, that I didn't overreact. Because believe me, when you go through something like this, people will try to convince you that you're the problem. That you're dramatic. That you should let it go. I didn't even tell half my extended family what happened. I was too ashamed. I mean, how do you even say it? Oh, my stepmom slept with my boyfriend. In my dad's house. And he told me to get over it. I spent the next couple of weeks putting on a brave face. I went back to class. I did my work. But inside, I was screaming. Then one day, I saw Rachel had viewed my Instagram story, even though she doesn't follow me. That's when it hit me, she wasn't done. Whatever sick part of her that wanted Noah? That wasn't about love. It was about power. About taking what she wanted, even if it meant destroying me to do it. She didn't just want Noah. She wanted to erase me. But she didn't know one thing, she woke up the version of me that doesn't back down. You'd think after something that disgusting, a girl would just cut ties, block numbers, and move on. But here's the thing, I couldn't. Not because I still cared. Not because I was confused. But because they thought they won, and I wasn't about to let them. I started thinking clearly. And when I did, I saw them for what they really were. Predators who thought they were playing chess while I was still learning checkers. Wrong. Rachel wasn't just some cougar with boundary issues. She was calculated. She wanted Noah because he was mine. She wanted to prove she could still have anyone she wanted, even if it meant burning me down in the process. And my dad? He was so desperate to cling to whatever ego boost Rachel gave him that he was willing to sacrifice his own daughter's dignity. So, I did something that surprised even me, I reached out. To Rachel. I know. It sounds insane, but hear me out. I sent a message that said, hey. I know things got out of hand. I'm still hurt, but maybe we should talk. Just us. She responded within 2 minutes. Lena, I've been waiting for you to reach out. I really want to fix things between us. I almost laughed. Fix. The only thing she ever fixed was her lipstick before crawling into bed with my boyfriend. But I played along. Told her I wanted to understand what happened. That maybe I could get past it. That I missed my dad. She invited me over for lunch. Just her and me. My roommate thought I'd lost it. You're going back to the crime scene? She asked. But I had a plan. And I needed Rachel to drop her guard. When I showed up that Saturday afternoon, everything was staged. Candles lit. Wine glasses on the table. Soft music playing. Like it was some kind of date. She opened the door wearing a soft pink sweater and this look on her face like she expected me to fall into her arms and thank her for not ghosting me. Lena, she said softly, you look beautiful. I faked a smile. Thanks. I've been trying to keep myself together. She poured me wine and started talking like we were girlfriends catching up after a breakup. She said Noah was confused, that they had a connection, but it wasn't serious. That she never meant for any of it to hurt me. But the kicker? She leaned in, almost whispering, and said, honestly, I don't even think your dad would have believed you if you hadn't seen it with your own eyes. He always said you had a flair for dramatics. I clenched my jaw so hard I thought I'd crack a molar. But I smiled. Because I had just gotten what I came for. Confirmation. That not only was she a snake, but my father had been talking trash about me behind my back for years. Belittling me. Painting me as the emotional one. The unreliable one. Rachel tried to hug me before I left. I stepped back and said, we'll talk more soon. As soon as I got home, I wrote everything down. Word for word. She didn't know I'd left my phone recording the whole conversation in my jacket pocket. That was step 1. Step 2 was Noah. Oh yeah, I wasn't done with him either. I unblocked him long enough to send one message. You owe me a conversation. You said you wanted to explain. Do it. Face to face. We met up at a small coffee shop near campus. I wore a black dress, heels, and a red lip, not for him, but for me. I wanted to feel like power again. He looked like trash, honestly. Eyes bloodshot, hair messy, like life had been hitting him without warning. Lena, he started, No, I cut in. You don't get to talk first. You sit. You listen. And he did. I asked him everything I needed to. When it started. Who made the first move? Where else they'd hooked up? He didn't know about the audio recording I had. So he told me everything. Apparently, Rachel had been texting him for months behind my back. Flirty stuff. She started confiding in him, about how lonely she was, how unappreciated she felt, how my dad didn't understand her anymore. He said he didn't know how to respond at first. But then, she sent a photo. One that wasn't exactly PG. He should have blocked her. But he didn't. He admitted he felt powerful when she came onto him. That it made him feel wanted. That he never meant for it to get serious. I sipped my coffee and said, "So, what now? You planning to date her? Play house with my stepmom?" He looked horrified. What? No. I haven't even talked to her since that night. That's when I smiled. Because the game had just changed again. I leaned forward and said, "Good. Because I already know everything. I've got receipts. And you might want to keep your head down, because I haven't even decided what I'm going to do with it all yet." He paled. "You recorded me?" "No. She recorded herself. I just listened." And then I left him there, sitting alone, staring into his untouched coffee like it could offer forgiveness. That night, I got a text from my dad. It said, "Rachel told me you came by. She said you're doing better. That makes me happy. Maybe we can have dinner sometime soon." No apology. No mention of the betrayal. A dinner invite. Like we were normal. So I replied, "Sure. I'll let you know when I'm free," smiley face. Because what they don't know yet is that I'm not just healing. I'm rebuilding. And they have no idea what's coming next. I don't know if there's a right way to destroy the illusions people build around themselves, but I do know one thing. I didn't owe my father or Rachel any more silence. They thought I'd break and crawl away. They thought they could twist the narrative, turn me into the overdramatic, bitter little girl with daddy issues. What they didn't expect was that I'd start fighting smart, not loud. For weeks, I collected everything. Messages. Dates. Audio from that wine-laced lunch with Rachel. Her voice, smooth and smug, talking about how, "Your dad always said you were too emotional to handle the truth." I had Noah's full confession written down, too. And finally, I was ready. It happened on a Sunday. Rachel invited me to family dinner. She said she wanted to make amends. My dad said he was proud of me for being mature enough to show up. Mature. Right. I wore a white button-down, high ponytail, no makeup. Just calm. Controlled. The opposite of what they expected. Let them think I'd softened. That I'd come back home seeking peace. Dinner was a roast chicken, wine, mashed potatoes, some picture-perfect, Pinterest version of family unity. I barely touched my plate. Rachel kept trying to make small talk. My dad made passive comments like, "See? This is nice. Just like old times." Old times? Before his wife started sleeping with my boyfriend, or before he decided I wasn't worth defending? Halfway through the meal, I put my fork down and said, "So? I brought something." Rachel blinked. "Oh." I pulled out my phone and set it on the table. Hit play. And there it was, her voice, clear as a bell. "Honestly, I don't even think your dad would have believed you if you hadn't seen it with your own eyes. He always said you had a flair for dramatics." My dad's fork clinked against his plate. His eyes locked onto me, then onto Rachel, who had gone ghost white. I let it play for another 10 seconds, just enough to get to the part where she said, "Love is complicated. You can't help who you connect with." Then I hit pause. The silence was beautiful. I looked straight at my dad. So, that's what you've been saying behind my back? That I'm dramatic? That I can't handle the truth? He opened his mouth, but nothing came out. Rachel reached for her wine glass, but her hands were shaking. I just wanted you both to hear it. Because for weeks, you'd been telling yourselves this was some harmless mistake. But it wasn't. It was intentional. It was cruel. And it says more about the both of you than it ever said about me. Dad finally spoke. Lena, that's enough. No, I said. Calmly. Firmly. You don't get to say when enough is enough anymore. Rachel tried to step in. Lena, I never meant for things to. Save it, I cut in. I'm not here for your redemption arc. I'm here to tell you both that whatever this family was, it's over. I stood up. I came here tonight to make it clear. I don't need either of you. You broke something in me, but you also woke something up. I'm not the same girl you betrayed. I'm stronger. Smarter. And I'll never make the mistake of thinking loyalty runs in blood again. I left before they could say another word. After that night, I blocked them both. Phone. Email. Socials. Everything. I changed my number. Moved into a new apartment off campus. Got a second job, picked up extra classes, and started building a new version of myself, one that didn't rely on anyone for validation. It wasn't easy. I had nights where I cried myself to sleep. I missed the version of my dad I thought I had. I missed the fake warmth of a family dinner. But with time, that pain became fuel. Rachel tried to reach out a few times through mutual contacts. She even wrote me a letter. Said she hoped I'd find peace. Funny. That's exactly what I did. Noah faded into the background. Last I heard, he dropped out of grad school and moved back in with his parents. Pathetic, but predictable. As for my dad, he made his choice. He picked the woman who destroyed our family. And now he gets to live with her, and the truth. I don't wish them happiness. But I also don't spend my days hoping for their misery. I just don't think about them at all anymore. And that's the most powerful ending I could ever ask for.